Good to see Steve Levy. Worked with Leaves for a long time there at the mothership. Now he's a big voice on college football, and also he's the lead voice on the XFL. I'll give you the official introduction here.
Yeah.
SportsCenter anchor. Are you still a SportsCenter anchor?
I did a show this month.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then that's your streak continues. Right. College football, NHL, XFL play-by-play. And the XFL, the season kicks off on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern on ABC. It's the Seattle Dragons face the DC Defenders. You're there with Greg McElroy.
Yeah.
And Tom Luganbill and Diana Rossini.
When the Dragons and Defenders get together, Dan,
throw out the records.
There are no records. It's perfect.
Throw out the record.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you approach this? If I said you're going to do LSU against Georgia, or are you going to do the Dragons against the Defenders? What's different?
Oh, not which one I'd prefer.
No.
Okay. It's entirely different. I think there's less focus, Dan, on the actual players themselves and more on how different the game and the broadcast will be. Right?
Explain.
So there's going to be a lot of voices. There's going to be a lot. So we have four, you just mentioned, four voices on television. And there will be 5 or 6 other voices constantly throughout the broadcast. So 2 players on each team will be mic'd the entire game. And that's pretty standard fare. We see that all the time. But the offensive coordinator, the play caller, head coach or OC, he will be mic'd and available for us at all times. So in the NFL, right, the coordinator talks to the quarterback's helmet. That cuts off at 15 seconds on the play clock. It will not cut off in the XFL, okay? And it will be available to our audience at all times. Now the producer and director will decide when it comes in. In addition, that play caller will speak to all skill position players. So what that does is it almost eliminates huddles altogether. You could run a long pattern, incomplete pass, coming back at the next play, and bam, and go. So we'll hear a lot of terminology. And again, that pot will be open at all times. It'll be up to the director to decide how much it airs. But we would be capable of taking that the entire game. And that could be really interesting. And again, it doesn't cut off in the XFL. Conceivably, Dan, you could have the coordinator saying in the quarterback's helmet, look left, he's open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they're going to take it to that level, but so that's the communication. And the essence of that is really to speed things up. They're going to go fast. There are tweaks to the rules, which are different. 25-second play clock instead of 40, for example.
But this is about the technology. This is about doing a football game differently, experimentation.
Yes. That's what I mean by it's more about that, I think, than the players to begin. Look, the players got to be good. Quarterback's got to be able to hit the open receiver. Receiver's got to be able to make the catch. There's got to be good fundamental football. And listen, you've heard of all the head coaches. You've heard of all the coordinators. And you've heard about, maybe 20, 30% of the players. Of this first game, I've gone through the notes. About 80% of the guys have had at least a cup of coffee in the NFL.
Okay.
All training camp, all practice squad. So they just, were on the bubble and missed the cut, whatever. And here's an opportunity. This is a great way to extend their dream, either get back to the NFL or put some good tape out there with good coaching and get into the NFL.
The goal is to be the developmental league with the NFL?
They haven't said that, but I believe the NFL is in favor. This is a win for everyone who loves football, and that's the slogan for the XFL, for the love of football. But if you're the NFL, how could you not love this? There will be tons of NFL scouts at all of these games. There's no question. They went to the training camps. There will be, like I said, a lot of NFL players who were on the bubble and missed the cut. So, and it's the perfect window, right, Dan? It's the week after the Super Bowl, runs through the NFL draft. The exact window when there is no football, other than on the conversation.
Are you embracing gambling?
Yes. I think that will be up to the individual, but the league has said they would like it. We are going to have the point spread and the over-under on the score bug constantly.
Now, what do you mean it's up to the individual?
They've said if we want to talk about it, we can talk about it. They'd like us to, and then it'll be, the comfort level. Look, we do that in the fourth quarter anyway, right?
Yeah.
That's an important field goal to some people. And the point spread can be helpful in a lot of ways because, look, we don't know a lot about these teams. So I'd like to know going in who Vegas might think is a heavy favorite, who's expected to win this game. Should it be a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game? But they're going to do fantasy football too. Look, everything that's good about football, they're going to try to bring to the XFL. Why not?
There's a fantasy football XFL
of course.
draft.
Of course.
Give me the top 5 players.
5?
3.
Well, so this is interesting to me, Dan. The quarterbacks will get paid now, roughly get paid 10 times what everybody else gets paid. All right, think about that for a second. They did that to ensure you get good quarterbacks because you need good quarterback play.
But what does that mean? 10 times 1,000 is 10,000.
Okay, so some quarterbacks, and it's not. I don't know if this is public or not. Some quarterbacks are going to get $500,000 for the season.
Okay,
that's real money.
Okay,
but regular players. Linebackers are going to get $50,000 for the season. Okay, so that's the 10 times. So when Ben Roethlisberger went down in week 2 for the Steelers, their first call was to Landry Jones.
Yeah.
He was tied up, signed to an XFL contract, and locked in. So he's probably the biggest name, Landry Jones.
Cardell Jones
from Ohio State National Championship team. So there are guys like
Aaron Murray, I think I drafted by the Chiefs.
I was going to say, I thought you drafted him in your fantasy
Not
league.
yet. I don't want. My draft is later today.
Right, of course. And so Landry Jones is playing for his old coach, Bob Stoops, from Oklahoma. Yeah. So there's some geographical smartness, right? They put them in Texas, near Oklahoma, as you know.
Yeah, so that's right next to.
There's a ball spotter.
A ball spotter?
Yeah. This is part of the nuances. You need more on that?
Yeah. Is that?
Don't leave you hanging on that. So there's
not like a ball girl?
No,
it's
a fair question. No. There will be an extra official on the field, and they cannot throw a flag. The only official who cannot throw a flag, they are there to spot the football. That's their only job.
Why do we need this?
It's to speed up the game. So, Dan, get this, and this is where it gets a little wacky on the rules, and people might, what's going on here? So, on an incomplete pass or a run out of bounds outside of 2 minutes, they're going to spot the ball and go. It's not the normal stoppage like in the NFL. Again, it's, in essence, speed, more snaps.
How long are the games supposed to last?
That's a great question, too, man. We could see 2.5-hour games. Our window's 3 hours, so you'll want to stay tuned for the post-game show, Dan. but these games could be 2.5 hours, and if we ever get to an overtime, that'll be cool, too. They're going to do like a shootout overtime. Single play, 5 offensive plays, but alternating, each team. Your defense is going to run on the field, 1 snap, boom, then they're going to run off, and then the other side comes off.
Give me the rule you think the NFL, or the gadget will adopt, if you were guessing.
So the coolest rule to it, Dan, is the 9-point play, in essence. Okay. So
you're making that.
No, I'm really not.
Come on, Leave.
The NBA has a better chance of adopting this than the NFL. No, here we go. So
the 9-point play.
There's no extra point. There are field goals, but there's no possibility of kicking an extra point.
Okay.
So you score a touchdown, that's worth 6. Still, we're good there. And then the coach has the decision. You can run a play from the 2 for 1 point. You can run a play from the 5 for 2 points. See where I'm going here. And you can run a play from the 10 worth 3 points. Therefore, Dan, down 18 late, you're in a 2-score game. You're not going anywhere.
But what about the rule of no helmets in overtime? Is that?
No, that's not true. Okay. That's the other league.
Okay.
That was the AAF.
So no pants in overtime.
There are no cheerleaders. There are no coin flip.
Wait, Vince McMahon has no cheerleaders?
That might be the biggest difference from the old XFL.
I'm out. Yeah.
10-minute halftime, Dan. They might not even leave the field. I mean, they're going to go.
You should crack a beer during the game.
That would be good, yeah.
Like if you have a beer sponsor and just...
Right.
That's all.
Brought to you by?
Yeah, Budweiser.
Yeah. King of beers.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, bring it up. Yeah. You fired up about it, aren't you?
I think so.
I think you need to adopt a team as you look at the map. So they're very excited in St. Louis, for example, Dan. They got ripped off. They lost their Rams, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean they're still angry.
And they should be.
About the Kroenke people. They're cranky about that.
Cranky about Kroenke?
Right.
Okay, I got it.
They've sold I think they're gonna have 30,000 at their home opener, and they're playing in the big stadium. Seattle's done very well. They might have 30,000 for their home opener in the big stadium.
Why didn't you bring in a football?
Yeah, that was my mistake. I noticed that when you have every other
football. I got everything else in
history.
Here. Yes.
Hey, XFL people, at XFL, send DP some stuff.
Best uniform in the XFL is who?
The Vipers of Tampa.
The Tampa Bay Bay Vipers.
And they'll play in Raymond James. They got the gold and yellow thing going on. The only thing I dislike, if I could change one thing, they've got an L.A. franchise. They got New York and L.A. The L.A. Wildcats. Isn't that awful?
Doesn't that sound like a movie?
It was Goldie Hawn. Yeah. You guys were talking about sports movies.
Yeah.
Where are you on that? Goldie Hawn's the coach.
The Wildcats.
In that rough neighborhood, yeah. Couldn't we do more in L.A., be a little more creative? You got the Battlehawks in St. Louis, Dan.
But don't the D.C. Defenders have to be a good defensive team?
You would think so. They have Pep Hamilton, who's the former Michigan offensive coordinator. And they have Cardell Jones. 2 o'clock Eastern on ABC.
ABC.
Every Saturday. And that was the other difference, Dan. That's why I think this is going to certainly make it through one season as opposed to the AAF falling in the middle.
Yeah.
Deep pockets of Vince, okay, and the television partnerships.
That's the key.
I think the AAF put the first game on CBS, the big CBS, and then they went away. They went to other affiliates. We're going to be on ABC and ESPN. We're not going to be on the Ocho. Like, this has the full backing of our company or your former company, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're still doing Sports Centers, huh?
Did couple at the Super Bowl.
Do you remember your first Sports Center?
Yes, I do. Carl Ravitch was co-anchor, gives me the big introduction. Ravi had been like 3 months before me, like not a long time.
Seasoned veteran.
Right. So, yeah, actually, you'll know the story. So, back in those days, you did a 2-shot and a lead-in. You look down and boom, and go to your 1 shot, which we don't do anymore, of course. I never turned cameras. So I did my usual 35-second lead straight ahead on a 2-shot without referencing Ravi, who's to my left. And legendary producer Mike McQuaid's in my ear. He's like, turn left. Hey, Steve, look left. Camera 2. I'm so nervous. I stared on the 2-shot camera the entire time. Please turn left. Just look left. A little left. You know, it's like the XFL coordinator in the quarterback's helmet. Turn left. He's open. Yeah. So,
did you have a tough Sports Center as far as the topic? You know, I mentioned when Jim Valvano died.
Yeah.
And he had said to me before he died, would you put a good picture of me over your shoulder? So he's asking me that the last time I see him at ESPN. Yeah. And then when he died, that's all I said, look, we got to put a great picture over my shoulder. The other one was when the Cleveland Indians pitchers died in the boating accident in spring training.
Yeah.
Those were tough.
I was on the air. You guys will have to help me on the name. It was the Yankees relief pitcher who was flying the plane into Manhattan.
Corey Lytle? Is that right? Is that his name, Paulie? Corey Lytle? Lidle?
That could be. Was he Indian? So. Indian? Was he Indians before, then maybe Yankees? I can't remember. I wound up being on Sports Center, and you know, you just don't know how to handle that. You're not ready for that.
I'm in Manhattan that day.
Yeah,
and I heard more fire trucks than police sirens than I've ever heard in my life at the same time. And I said something tragic happened. Turn on the TV. And I'm about 5 blocks away from where he flew into the building.
Yep. No, those are brutal days. So the Kobe Bryant, obviously recently, but we all banded together when Muhammad Ali passed away. Right?
Yeah.
Now, you sort of know that one's coming. Yeah. Right, because old age and that kind of thing. But
I had Magic Johnson when I had to throw out to the coverage of Magic announcing that he was HIV positive.
Everybody remembers that.
And we got a call from Dick Schaap, the legendary Dick Schaap, and he called the assignment desk and he said, Magic's retiring. And we're like, why would Magic retire?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, I was told, get down on the set, throw it out to the press conference, and then, bring it back. And you throw it out there. And who knew about HIV at the time, or how much did we know? And now Magic is going to retire, and you try to wrap your head around that.
So wait, when you throw to the presser, you don't know why still at that point?
We weren't sure.
Right.
All I know is that Dick Schaap had called the assignment desk, and he was working for us, and he said, Magic's going to retire.
Yeah.
Magic's going to retire. And then it was like, get down to the set. They're holding a press conference. And you're racing down there, and you're like, you throw it out there, and you're not quite sure what you're going to get.
Right.
And you got it, and then you're like, oh, my God, how do you process this?
Right. How do you come out of that?
Yeah, you do. And
then for hours, right?
Give some perspective on that.
Listen, hey, that's where we earn the money, by the way. Really, if it's a standard night and you're reading off the teleprompter and doing regular highlights, and a lot of people can do that, Dan. But when a big story breaks like that and how you handle it, that's the expertise.
And you're going to earn your money this weekend.
We're going to be fired up about it, Dan. I'm predicting a close game.
You are Mr. XFL.
I'm going to try. It's fun. Hey, it's pro football. It is football, and it's something to be on the ground floor They really like not recognizing 2001 at all, as if it never happened. Like statistically, or the XFL really wants to distance themselves from
so
that.
those stats don't still hold up.
They're not carrying over.
Is he hate me's rushing stats still there to be?
That's the one question I get is he hate me still playing? Is he playing on Saturday? Was it Rod Smart?
Yeah.
Rod Smart.
Yeah, he's not playing, right?
I don't believe so. We have some older players, not that old.
We'll be tuning in Saturday.
That did not sound like a real tuning in.
I'm going to do a drive-by.
Okay.
I'm going to do a drive-by.
Yeah. I think people will be curious, right? Curious to see what it's about.
Here's something.
Yeah.
If you do this on Saturday,
yeah,
I will direct my audience to make sure, I will marshal my audience to watch the show.
Okay.
Watch the game.
What do I have to do?
Just say the words passion bucket.
Passion bucket.
That's it.
Done.
Okay.
Give me something else. Is there anything harder?
No. I was going to say, you could have dropped in McLovin, but that might be a little bit tougher. I just think, nice, if your football passion bucket is not full, then we have something for you today.
Might be the first words out of my mouth before I even say Luganville, okay?
Before Diana Rossini gets introduced, you're going to say passion bucket.
Yeah.
You're going to welcome us on the air with that.
Fill up your passion bucket right here.
Strap yourself in and ready to go. The 2020 XFL season kicks off Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. If you wanted to see Cardale Jones again, you get a chance. Seattle Dragons face Cardale Jones and the DC Defenders.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Great to see you, Leaves.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck, buddy.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.